Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Barnstable This Morning. Just about 10 minutes past the top of the hour on this Tuesday morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Chief of Police, Paul MacDonald. Chief, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, Chief, hearing some reports of early morning gunfire in Hyannis. What can you tell me about this incident?
The calls came in early this morning, about 4 o'clock this morning. We responded to number 70 Main Street, which is east end of Main Street, down by the Yarmouth town line. It's a condominium complex. When the officers arrived, they were directed to unit number 12. Outside by the front door, they found 7 shell casings. Apparently, whoever it was on foot. They walked by the condominium complex. They stopped at number 12, and then they fired 7 shots through the second-story window. We called for the dog. The dog did track an individual. An individual was seen running down Camp Street towards Route 28. The dog tracked, and we lost the track down by the Yarmouth town line. We're out there right now. There's still an ongoing investigation. We have secured the scene out there right now, and we are in the process of writing a search warrant to get into the apartment. Right now, we believe there is nobody in the apartment. We do not believe anyone was injured, but we do want to recover any type of evidence that might be in the apartment, specifically for ballistics, to find what type of weapon it is. So we're in the process of writing a search warrant. That warrant will be executed in probably about an hour and a half. The leasee of the apartment is an individual named Sean Miller. Sean Miller is well known to law enforcement. He recently was just released from House of Correction, serving 2 years for distribution of heroin. So again, this is not a random event, but we still have a long way to go in the investigation.
Indeed, and you know, would you assume, or I guess no assumptions made at this point, but are drugs related to this incident?
We don't know that for a fact, but right now it's probably a safe assumption to make. You know, this is not characterized as a drive-by, but a walk-by. You know, the individual. We do not believe at this time there was a car involved. So, and again, right now we have no idea where Sean Miller is or his girlfriend who lives there with him. So we try to locate those 2 individuals also.
Indeed, and no injuries at this point.
There were no injuries. Nobody was injured. No.
Indeed. Well, Chief, thank you for that update, and we'll certainly keep an eye on as you continue that investigation. I wanted to talk as well about an unfortunate incident. Heard that there was a homeless gentleman that did pass away on the bandstand right out here in the Village Green earlier, or over the weekend, rather.
That was unfortunate. Ray Bastille, you know, Ray Bastille has been well known to the police department for years. You know, even back when I was on line lieutenant, I dealt with Ray. Ray was a good guy, nice guy, never gave you a hard time. But he succumbed probably to his lifestyle, the way he was living. He was out on the bandstand that night. Saturday night was a nasty, cold, windy night, rain. He and his buddy, Mr. Lyons, they could not get into the shelter. The shelter was full. The shelter has 50 beds, and then when it was bad weather like that, they allow people to stay in the foyer area of the shelter. But that too was full, so they looked for some type of cover, some type of protection. They went to the bandstand. As you know, the bandstand does have a roof over it. They stayed there. They were drinking heavily. Ray fell asleep, and unfortunately, he did not wake up. It's a sad event. You know, last week we talked about the drugs, the problem we have with drug addiction. You know, probably the second major problem that the police department's facing right now is dealing with the homeless individuals. You know, and trying to keep them safe. Last year at this time, we had 7 homeless individuals who passed away. 4 in the woods, 3 in the shelter. 4 we know died of exposure. You know, this year, you know, I read the paper. Somebody from Homeless Not Hopeless stated 2 individuals have died. We only aware of 1 person who died in this town, and that was Ray. And that's unfortunate. You know, Ray was a nice guy. He has not been around for at least 6 to 8 months. We have not seen him. We assumed he was back in Falmouth. That's where he's from. It's just a terribly unfortunate incident.
Indeed, and certainly, you know, we do have the shelter, but as you say, at capacity, 50 beds, those are full. The foyer is full. Certainly says something about
right.
You know, the amount of homeless people we do have here in the village of Hyannis.
You know, in the homeless and social services, you know, they're making great strides. You know, they're doing a great job. They're changing the shelter from emergency shelter to a professional shelter. You know, and most nights the shelter is not full, but when you have a night like Saturday when it was raining and windy for 2 straight days, you know, everybody's looking to get in and stay warm, and unfortunately, you know, the shelter was full. So it's an unfortunate situation.
Indeed. So Chief, what else did we have happen over the past week? Of course, the weather's getting a little warmer. We've had a little melting. You know, what's going on out there?
Well, things are starting to pick up. You know, the street crime unit arrested Christopher Wilkins last Friday. Mr. Wilkins was one of those individuals like Ilya Zenoff and Little Ant. He's always involved in something. You know, last November he was involved in stabbing at the quarterdeck. 3 years ago he was involved in a home invasion out in Marston Mills. He did 2 years in House of Correction. He's currently out on bail. Street crime unit did a great job. They opened up a narcotics investigation on him. They were able to get a couple of undercover buys, and then they eventually made the arrest last Friday, and he's currently being held for $40,000 cash bail. So that was a good guy to get off the street. And then last Wednesday, we responded to 77 Mitchell's Way regarding a domestic dispute in a lower apartment. An individual, they were all drinking there all night long. They obviously got drunk. They went upstairs. They broke into the apartment upstairs, stole a gun, and one of the individuals went downstairs and put the gun to his girlfriend's head, threatened to murder her, and all kinds of crazy other things. He was subsequently arrested and charged with multiple charges of illegal possession of firearms, aim be dangerous weapon, unlawful possession of ammunition, and possession of firearm while committing a felony, and other substantial crimes. So he's also being held in $10,000 cash bail. So It's been a busy weekend. As the cold weather subsides and snow starts to melt, we will start picking up.
Indeed. Well, but there is some good news, though, Chief, on the horizon. I see just briefly looking at the Town Council agenda for this week, there's a grant or two that are going to our Community Impact Unit to help support their training.
And this is key. The Community Impact Unit, they're getting, I believe, a total of $71,000 over a 2-year period to help them in their training. They are dealing almost exclusively with the homeless population, and all this training is surrounding mental health training. This is a training where probably most police departments are lacking. They do get mental health training in the academy. I believe it's 16 hours. They just got back from Nashville. They received 40 hours intensive training, which they're going to go back and train the entire police department. And then we're sending a group of officers up to Taunton for crisis intervention training to help us, deal with this homeless situation better than what we are currently doing, and we need this training.
Absolutely. Well, Chief, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us for the update here on Barnstable This Morning. A pleasure to have you on the program, and we will talk with you again next week. Have a great week.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Chief of Police Paul MacDonald joining us as he does each and every Tuesday morning.